Hi everyone. I wanted to, this video is about a week later than I had hoped that I would get it done by, but for the people that bought my kits on my tutorial and the ones that got my kits on my Etsy store from my boxed mini album, I had promised that I was going to do a tutorial on how to make my little roses, and here's one of them. I'm going to bring you down to it. Here's one of the roses. There we go. So these are the roses that we're going to make. There's also, let me grab the Steampunk Spells one. These are the ones that we're looking at, is these black roses right here. And so I'm going to show how to make these roses and these gears. So let me put you back up. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. Now these are cut, I already pre-cut these. These are from Spellbinders. Oops, sorry about the glare. This is the ones that we used on the ones that I used on my steampunk box were from the Bitty Blossoms collection. I used this one and the smaller one. There's also a couple more in leaves that go with the Bitty Blossom set from Spellbinders, but I'm also going to show you this one, which is Spiral Blossom 2 and Spiral Blossom 3. So these are already cut out of the dies, and I've got, it's easier to work with the larger ones, so I will go ahead and start with the larger ones. Now, I normally do these with glue, but at my last class, some people were having, they were having difficulty, my students were having difficulty getting them to grab with the glue. So last night I was playing around and started using the hot glue gun, and as much as I'm not a fan of burning my fingers with a hot glue gun, it does grab hold of these really quickly and it makes it a lot easier. So be careful, but the hot glue does work a lot faster. If you don't have hot glue, or if you don't want to get burned and you have a lot of patience, then go ahead and use glue. But anyways, we're going to start by rolling these up. I'm going to get these out of the view so that you guys can see this. Make sure we're in focus. Okay, so you can take anything as small as like a cuticle or an orange stick, or as large as pencil, and anything in between. And so what we're going to do is we're going to roll these up. We're going to start right on the end, and we're going to roll this in. And all it takes is about 3 or 4, 5, 6 rolls, and you can either continue to roll with that, or you can just start rolling it with your fingers. And what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to keep this bottom flat, and I'm just rolling it. And you just keep on working it around, rolling it. And you can roll it from the front side, or you can roll it from the back side, doesn't matter. Whatever is most comfortable to you. And it doesn't have to be exact. You know, we're going to let this go. And I'm kind of squishing it as I go, you know, to get some crease in those little leaves, in those little petals. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of, you see how it's all squished up? Whoop, nope, too close. So we're going to just kind of unwind it slightly. We're going to unwind it and let it go. Whoops. And we're just going to keep on unwinding it little by little until it starts to relax a little. And then what I do is I kind of pull. Make sure this is getting in. I kind of pull it out. I put my finger in the center and I pull the leaves out. You know, making them more flat, making them open up. Little by little, I just pull it out. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my tweezers. And when you want to get the finer points, when you want to get in close and really work on your center, which I think is a pretty big part of the flower as far as the symmetry of it. You've really got to get the center right. Alright, that's looking a little better. So I'm going to mess with this just a minute longer. And you just keep on going basically until you get something that you think looks good. And that's really all there is to it. Okay, so this is pretty close to what I want. So what I'm going to do is on the bottom, you see there's this circle. There's this little circle, and that's where we're going to put the glue. Now, mind you, it is hot glue, and most of us are familiar with how this is. It feels like molten lava when it touches your skin, so be very careful. I'm using a non-stick mat here, so I'm going to set that down. And you don't have much time for this to dry, but you set it in there. And you can use your tweezers to really get that last bit of spiral in the center and to push it down. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, and you'll see on here, let me zoom in, let me bring you down here. You'll see in here, whoops, that there's that gap in there. You see that hole? You can see my finger through the bottom of the rose. In order to compensate, here, let me give you a look of black really freaks my camera out. But this is the general idea of the rose. You know, you can get it tighter, looser, however you like it. But in order to fix this back, we're going to make a larger circle and glue it on there. So let me put you back up here. And I'm going to use a 1 inch. And I'm just going to punch it out of the same black cardstock. I'm going to add my glue, keeping it off my skin. Which I highly recommend. And we're just going to, I don't want to stick my head in the camera, so make sure I got that on there. Let's see, I'm just covering up that base. Okay. And one more quick look. See, we covered up that, well, it doesn't want to focus on it, but now you cannot see that gap anymore. Okay, so there's our first rose. And let's go ahead and do, or this is, I call this one the lollipop flower. This is the same flower that I used in the Secret Garden, on the Secret Garden boxed mini that I'm going to be teaching at the end of this month. And here's another really cute one. This one is the Spiral Blossom 3. And so again, okay, this one I'm going to start with the pencil. I'll just start rolling that around until I've got a nice base to work with. And all of the, yeah, Sizzix has some flowers that are spiral flowers as well. You can also cut out flowers and roll them the same way. You can cut out your own spiral flower. And there's lots of tutorials on how to do that. I really love the symmetry and the precision of the cuts of these, so I'm not really a fan. Or I've never been able to do a hand cut spiral flower that I really liked, so I opted to buy dies. But my mom can do amazing ones, so if you have that talent, then go for it. But you would wrap them the same way. And you just keep on messing with it until you get it the size and shape that you like. And I think that's pretty good. Okay, so that's about where I want you, is right about there. So I'm going to open that up. Hopefully I was on camera for that. Okay, and there we go. That's better. All right. And that hot glue does a makes quick work of it. Okay, I'm going to use one of my scraps here and cut another 1-inch circle. For the smaller flowers, these are the larger ones. The smaller flowers, I use a 1/2-inch circle. Alright. And if you need to, you can also go through, if you find that your flower is loose on any edges, like this second part feels a little loose to me, you could always, this is a precision tip glue gun that I found at Walmart for like $11. Totally worth it, by the way, gals. I'll never touch my old glue gun again because you can get it into these tight little spaces, which I would have never been able to do with just a standard hot glue gun. And for $11 or $12, totally worth it if you can see the tip on this. How cool is that? So, love this gun. But it does use the big glue sticks, which can be a little more expensive and a little harder to find. But, again, totally worth it. Okay, so there's a couple flowers right there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do a little one because they're a little tougher. Let's see, we did our 2 big ones. Let's do a rose. Let's do 2 roses. I'm going to do a white rose. And this one I am going to do with the pencil because this one works slightly different, the rose ones. The petals need a little more manipulation. Okay, so I've rolled that. So once I've got this started, what I do is I squeeze it, turn it, squeeze it. And what I'm doing by squeezing it every half turn is I'm putting a little crease in that petal. And these are the ones that the gals got if they purchased the embellishment kit on my Etsy shop. And I'll put a link to that. I might make some of these cuts available as well if you guys just want flowers. The embellishment pack on my Etsy store has both the gears and the rose cuts. Okay, so we've got that in there. And we're going to roll it out just a little bit. You don't have to really be, as long as you use good solid cardstock, you don't have to be that gentle with these. You just have to be careful you don't rip it down at this base. I think I keep on getting off camera right here. So again, I'm going to hold it in the center. And I'm basically bending these leaves at the halfway mark. And I'm just kind of bending them out, just like a flower. You know, like a flower was opening up from the center. So what I do is I just go through and layer by layer, I just kind of pull the leaves out. And I just go around the flower. And of course I leave the last couple in the center, going kind of straight up. But you know, you do whatever works for you, whatever looks good to you. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of figure out that's pretty good. I like the way that looks. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of glue. Lay it down. I want to offset my leaves. All right. And I'm going to bring that in just a smidge. Tighten that center up a little bit. And I bent those over a little further than I'd like, but no worries, I can bend them back. Okay, so there's our white rose. And we're going to... This one I'm still going to do an inch circle. I'm going to show you how to color these in just a minute. Okay, so now we've got our back on there to stabilize everything and cover up our gaps. And let me show you what we've done so far. So, this is what we have. And this is just plain white cardstock, and it looks pretty much like a rose. Okay, so we've got that one. And here's our Spiral Blossom 3. And here's our Spiral Blossom 2. Alright. So now let's do one Bitty Rose. And I'm going to do that one in black. Let's see where we're at for time. Ooh, that's a little too small. Yikes. Okay, well, we're just going to keep on rolling. Literally. Okay, so these are, like I said, the little ones are the hardest to do. Best thing you can do is don't overthink it. You know, nature's pretty random. So, don't overthink it and just kind of let it go. And you'll probably be happily surprised. If you try to get these things perfect, you will just frustrate yourself. Because it just doesn't happen. Every one of these comes out looking a little different. Which is actually kind of cool, in my opinion. Whoopsie. So, let me find the center of that again. I got it kind of bent the wrong way. I don't know how I managed that, but I did. You can just put your tweezers in there and spin them. Okay, so that's pretty close. That looks starting to look like a baby rose to me. Okay, so this one's really tiny. Alright. And this one I'm going to do a 1/2 inch punch to back it. Now, if you roll your roses really tightly, you might not even need these backs, but I like a more full bloom rose rather than a bud. But if you were to do buds, you might be able to, you might not need these backers. But I think they give them more stability. Okay, so let me show you this one. So here's this little guy. Really, it has a hard time focusing on the black. But there's that little rose, and you can see them next to this one. And this one. So we made these four flowers in under 20 minutes with instruction. And I also wanted to show you a couple other ones that I did last night. Now this one was a black one, and it was covered in It was dusted with just copper paint, and then it was covered in diamond glaze and let to dry, trying to go for that metal feel. And this one was also a faux metal one. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Alright, that's better. And then this one was done with the same kind of, it was black cardstock, and then I dusted on, dry brushed on some just copper metallic paint, and then covered it in glossy and glossy decoupage. This one is the Spiral Blossom 3, and this one was made with a sheet of glitter paper with white iridescent. And here's the rose. How pretty is this? Wouldn't this be great for Christmas? Then I also did some out of pattern paper. Now this is 7 Gypsies, so it's almost paperweight. You know how thin their paper tends to be, but it is double-sided. But that's what it kind of looks like with unembellished. That's what it looks like with pattern paper. And here's the tiny one, which that's probably my least favorite one. But here, look at this one. How cool is this one? Now this one was done, I took craft and I added the ductwork tape, aluminum tape that you can find at Home Depot, and I believe you can even find it at Walmart over in the home improvement section, over by the duct tapes. Anyways, this one, and you can alcohol ink that, and I'm going to probably do another video on how to do that. Here's a smaller one. How neat is that? So these are all rolled roses. Here's also a couple little, oh, here's another one too. Let me grab this. This is that first one that I showed you. And this was made with a brown glitter paper. And then it was white on the back, so I used the copper paint. And I didn't worry about doing a great job at it because you really don't see it unless you turn the rose over, which once it's glued down is not going to happen. But neat looking rose. I like the glitter paper. Here's also another. Now this was done with a punch, but this is with that. This is the faux metal flower. And here's a teeny weeny tiny one. How cute is that? With an itty bitty brad. I see one other flower that tried to escape. Oh, there's a tiny little white rose. I think that would look really great with a white pearl in the center of it, or maybe a rhinestone. So anyways, there's my flowers, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to start another video, part 2, on how to color them. So check back in. Bye.